Hi, everybody. This is Adina from Immigrant Finance. I hope you are doing well and having a great day. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to talk further today about starting a business as an immigrant. And I'm really looking forward to speaking with you all more about this really important topic. I actually just had a workshop this morning with a couple of our students and folks in our community, talking all about developing a mission-driven online business and tackling some of the money mindset stuff that can get in the way of doing that. It was a ton of fun. It was so inspiring to see the growth that they were having in just an hour and a half session. We were able to start working through a lot of their particular fears that come up, as we all have when it comes to starting a business, and talk about next steps. So it was really exciting. And I wanted to now do a talk with our community here to share more about how to start a business as an immigrant, and can you even start a business as an immigrant? That's a question we get a lot, but there's a lot of misinformation about that. So there's actually no law saying that immigrants are not allowed to have businesses. And that's why businesses are one of the most viable ways for immigrants who don't have status or who have uncertain status or temporary status or maybe losing their status to have a source of income, because in that situation, you don't have to deal with the issues around not having a work permit. And there are millions and millions of undocumented immigrants who have their own businesses and are able to generate their own income and build wealth through their businesses. So this is a really important strategy for more people in the community to be learning about. And, it really doesn't matter if you don't have immigration status, if you don't have a business degree, or if you're the first in your family to start a business, anybody can start a business. And specifically today, we'll be talking about online business, which these days, almost every type of business does need to have some kind of online presence. So it's, excuse me. So I was just checking my earphones. Any business these days has to have some kind of online presence. Even an in-person business does, in order to keep up with how technology is developing and find new clients and customers and people to help. And we even have one of our business school clients has an in-person cleaning business, but she's been able to use the online strategies we've been talking about to have organic growth and be able to find people in her area who want her help and want her services, and be able to reach them in a way that would be a lot less efficient if she was not using online strategies and had to go door to door or sending flyers or something like that. But what is an online business? So online business is about anything from having an online component of an in-person business, like I just gave as an example with a cleaning business that's using maybe some email marketing, social media to find new people to be working with and help, to a business that's completely online where there's no in-person component. And there's everything in between. For the online only types of businesses, there's various types. Usually in immigrant finance, what we're talking about is the kind of online business that's about creating services and sharing information, education. So really kind of using your intellectual property, like your own ideas and thoughts, to create something online that can help people. And we really focus on mission-driven businesses that are all about, making an impact in the community and serving the people that you want to be helping, and helping people solve problems in an area where you have life experience and you can share and help solve their problem. So that's the kind we usually talk about, but there's also types of online businesses that are very focused on like selling physical products, like e-commerce. There's online businesses that, are based on just affiliate links, right? And getting paid by someone buying a link through their link. There's online businesses that can involve like Facebook ads, advertising. There's all types. But again, for the purposes today, and mostly what we talk about in immigrant finance is service-based, mission-based online business. For example, like creating online courses, providing coaching, whether it's group coaching or individual coaching, or providing services such as social media management, marketing services, things like that. And we're in terms of whether immigrants can do this, there's really no law out there saying that immigrants are not allowed to have businesses. In fact, there are millions of undocumented immigrants who are allowed to legally work for an employer because they don't have a work permit, but there's nothing saying they can't have businesses, and they often have businesses and are able to be more financially stable and independent because they know how to generate income on their own. And this is really one of the best ways to be building generational wealth, if that's a goal of yours, because with a business, your ability to increase your income is really limitless. In a 9-to-5 job, there's always going to be some cap to your salary. Even if you can negotiate and, raise your salary some or get a promotion, it's always going to be capped at a certain amount. There's only so far you can go. But with a business, the only limit really is you and working through the fears and doubts and insecurities that can get in the way from starting and growing. But if you're able to do that, you can always be growing and expanding your business. And particularly with a mission-based business, it's about helping people. Can always be expanding to serve and help more and more people, create a bigger impact on your community, do what you love. And when you do that, you create value, and money tends to follow from that and flow. And so I want to talk a little bit about a story of one of our clients in our online business accelerator program, which is a 6-month program focused all on getting your online business off the ground, launching it, getting it monetized, getting your first clients, setting up your LLC, all of that. So this client is just such an amazing example of the power of persistence, tenacity, and belief. She has really inspired me a lot, and she's just been applying everything she's learning. She's been so fearless, despite having fear, and just continuing to put one foot in front of another with each step, with each day, and continue to take steps forward to build her business. And it's been really paying off. She's been getting clients left and right. People have been referring to her more clients, and she's really been putting her heart and soul in it. It's not like things have been handed to her or easy. She's had many barriers in the way. There's many reasons she could have said to herself that this isn't possible for me, that I can't start a business because of my immigration status or situation, because I don't have the same opportunities in this country. But she didn't let those stories hold her back. She has really owned her power, and I'm so incredibly proud of her. She has really been giving me so much inspiration and the other students in the group, because she just keeps building one day after another, and it's working. Her business is off the ground. It's growing. She's getting clients, right? And this started happening just like 2 months into the 6-month program. And I think it's been happening because of her focus. Right? When you're really focused on your goals and you're willing to go outside your comfort zone and grow and do what's uncomfortable, even when it's scary to do that, that's really when the magic happens. That's the secret to how this stuff can become possible. People make it sound so much more complicated than it needs to be to start a business, but it's not that much more than that. It's just about willing to take a little baby step forward each day and keep going and keep moving forward despite the challenges that come up, despite the barriers, working through those fears and doing what you have to do to start your business and grow your business. And when you're going in, when you're doing this, like something like this, things tend to work out because the universe tends to respond and kind of like encourage you when you're going outside your comfort zone and doing what's scary and working toward what you're meant to do and working toward fulfilling your purpose. The universe tends to respond, and Of course there will be challenges, but I've seen when people are really willing to go outside their comfort zone and do that, often success follows from that. And this person that I'm talking about, she has been going from a situation where she's had limited income, she's had very limited opportunities for herself and her family. And now, because of her ability to have this courage and to start and grow her business, she's now in a position where she is soon going to be able to leave her job. Her business is on a trajectory where she will be soon making more money in that than she is in her job, and she'll be able to use that to grow her business more, to invest more in the stock market, to reach her retirement goals faster, to reach her goals to invest for her child's college faster, and be on a pathway to actually building wealth. Now, this is just one story of the many people who have been able to start businesses in the immigrant community, several folks who we've been working with, and several who are out there being examples and leaders in this space. If you are on our email list, you see our newsletter every Friday. We're always highlighting each week a different leader in the immigrant community who's online and growing their presence, growing a business. So I hope that can give you that, and this story can give you some encouragement that it is possible for you too. It's just a matter of making that commitment and working past those fears to continue taking action so that you can start and grow your business. And I want to talk now about 3 lessons that you can walk away from this talk with about how to start a business as an immigrant. Now, the first one is to don't let the fears be the reason you don't start. I started mentioning fears a lot. I want to go a little more into that. Now, in general, there's always, a million reasons people can give us, and we can give ourselves, about why something's not going to work out, why we're not able to do that, why we can't start our business, right? From our own brains freaking out, our family, our friends, from conditioning in society, telling us why it won't be possible for people like us, why people like us aren't allowed to do things like that and build wealth. But let me tell you, those are often just stories and limiting beliefs. They're not fact. They're not real, because I've seen enough people now who've been able to take action despite those stories and have success and start their businesses. So just because people are telling you that, or just because your brain is freaking out and those fears are coming up, which is completely normal and not your fault, because we have so much conditioning from society and in our subconscious that makes our brain do that. It doesn't mean that you can't take a step forward and try and build something. If you have that itch, if you have that feeling that you want to create something and you want to make an impact and you want to be helping people. If you have a passion, if you have an idea in your head that you're excited about, first of all, it means it's real, because you wouldn't have the desire and the thought in the first place if it wasn't possible. I've been learning about recently how there's no actual thing as imagination. Imagination was just something humans, like a concept humans came up with because we couldn't handle the fact that we couldn't see the things we were imagining and touch them, and they weren't real. It's more that they already exist. They're just in another dimension. Maybe they haven't happened yet, but we have those thoughts and imagination. We have that imagination and those ideas because it is something that can happen and is real, or else we wouldn't have had that thought in the first place. So if you have something you're excited about, take it seriously. It just, maybe you can't see it right now, but it's real and it's possible. And if you're hearing stories in your head about how it's not possible because you're an immigrant, or because no one in your family has ever done it before, or because you didn't go to business school, don't listen to them. Again, they're just stories. It doesn't mean they're actually true. And you should just know that it's expected and normal to have these fears. I think all entrepreneurs have these major fears and insecurities. They just don't talk about it. So when you see it in the media, some really successful business owner, multi-million-dollar business owner, something like that, they are having these fears too. It's part of entrepreneurship. They're just not talking about it. And it's something that needs to be talked about more. It's very scary and emotional to think about starting a business and to actually start one. It's scary every day when you're outside your comfort zone. right? And it's because you're growing, and you're growing yourself as a person when you do that, and you're growing a business. You're making an idea into something tangible and real right now. And so knowing that these fears are expected and going to be happening can kind of make it easier to just be like, okay, this is normal, right? That this is happening, and this is kind of just like my brain trying to keep me safe. And it's not necessarily true, and it's not a reason I shouldn't go forward anyway. And there's actually some helpful like brain stuff I've been learning about recently that made it really more concrete for me, which is basically how there's two parts of the brain. So there's like our like reptilian brain, which is in the back of our head, and that's the first part of the human brain in evolution that developed. It's like similar to what's the brain of animals, and it was designed really to basically keep us safe, right? Help us survive, right? And that's where fear comes from, and it's very deeply embedded in our brains and subconscious because it's been around the longest. Then there's another part of our brain up here, our prefrontal cortex, which is the place for, you know, creativity, judgment, imagination, strategy, ideas. That developed last. And that's something that animals don't have. It's humans' ability to have rational thinking and all of that, and to plan. So these are the two parts of the brain, and basically what's going on is when you do something outside your comfort zone and you're creating something new and you're using this part of your brain, this part of your brain, from the reptilian brain limbic system, kind of takes over and hijacks it, and will be like, no, you know, you have to stay safe, you have to be comfortable, you know, don't do anything risky, right? Because that part of your brain was designed to do that. It was designed to keep you safe. It's like the part that would keep us safe, you know, and we're in the jungle and animals were running after us and we were trying to save our life. Like that's what kept humans alive and to survive as a species. But now how far we are in our evolution, it can now get in the way of doing things that are, you know, good risks, that are risks that could lead to a lot of benefit and reward. But that's what's going on when you get really scared and fearful about starting a business or about growing something or turning an idea into reality that's outside your comfort zone. It's basically that part of the brain is dominating, and you have to actually train your brain to start using this part of the brain more, so that you don't automatically revert to your fears taking over and controlling your life, because that fear-based part of your brain really drives your subconscious, and that drives your thoughts and your actions and your behaviors. Right. So if you want to be able to up level and go outside your comfort zone and grow and create things and build wealth, you're going to have to, you know, start to recognize the difference between those two brains and try to exercise that muscle more from this part of the brain, because from the front of your brain, because it's like a muscle. You know, when you start lifting weights in the beginning, you know, it's really hard, your muscles are really tired, but then if you start doing it, you know, every other day and you build up to it, then you can lift more weight and it gets easier. So it's just like that. It's like growing a muscle. And so just starting to become more aware when fears are coming up, that that's what's going on, can be a very powerful tool to be able to take action despite that, and just be like, okay, I know that's that part of my brain going on. It's just scared. It's just trying to keep me safe. But then starting to ask some better questions, because it may be that actually starting a business will keep you actually more safe in reality, because when you can be when you know how to generate income on your own and not have to rely on a single employer for your livelihood, that gives you a lot more options and security, right? And realistically, because once you know how to generate income on your own and start a business, you can do that the rest of your life. Even if it's not that business, you can start other businesses, right? You can consult for other businesses. Whereas in a 9-to-5 job, you know, we've been told that's what safety and security is. But we saw during the pandemic how easily those types of jobs can be cut, and how much, you know, devastation that caused for people. So, question and think about really what is safety and what part of the brain is really, talking here when those fears are going on. And just know it's not your fault and it's expected and normal. There's a reason they say starting a business is like the best form of therapy you can have, because it really forces you to deal with all those emotions and insecurities and fears, and to, be able to take action and grow despite them. The second thing I wanted to talk about is don't let the immigration laws, or being the first in your family to start a business, hold you back from doing it. Like I said, you don't need to have immigration status to have a business, and you don't need a business degree, and you don't need to have a bunch of people in your family who've had businesses to start one. Right? If you really believe in yourself and you can keep putting one step forward, just like the story of my client I told earlier in this talk, and don't give up, you can create something that can help others and make an impact that's like based on, what you're meant to do, based on your sole purpose. And if you're willing to go out of your comfort zone and to keep building that every day, it's really amazing what can happen. And, there's so much violence and dehumanization that happens in the immigration system and in the immigration laws that can really affect your, confidence and belief in yourself. But don't let those laws and those systems that, excuse my language, are fucked up, like be what's holding you back from reaching your potential. You are the one who can decide, the trajectory and the fate of your life, regardless of what those laws say. Starting a business is something that anybody can do. And it's certainly going to be harder in some cases and have more barriers and be more challenging if you're an immigrant or if you don't have status. But that doesn't mean it's not possible. These things can always be overcome. They're just going to be trickier. And that's really exactly what we're here to help with in Immigrant Finance, to help the people in our community be able to navigate those barriers so that you can still start a business, or you can invest or do whatever you want to do to be building wealth despite those barriers that can make things more difficult. And we've worked with enough people now where we've seen that individuals, regardless of their status, can start businesses and make it happen. So don't tell yourself it's not possible, because I can tell you it is possible. We've seen it be possible for many people that we've been working with. And if you want to create something, you can do it as long as you're like committed to your goals and keep going forward. The third thing I wanted to talk about is how you should actually use your immigration experience or the immigration history of your family as an advantage when it comes to starting a business. Now, there are so many advantages that immigrants and family members of immigrants have to offer. I could go on and on about this, like just to name a few. First of all, if you're bilingual, that's going to allow you to be able to work with and help and support more people. If you've ever lived in another country, or if you have family in other countries, you're going to be a lot more like flexible and open-minded, most likely in your perspective in the world and how you understand people, understand systems, because you've seen different examples. And so that allows you to be able to question the way things are and see how things could be actually different. There's different ways of doing things, right? So that can make you more creative, that can make you more flexible. And we all know immigrants are some of the most resilient people out there. It's not like whoever is listening in this community has not had to overcome challenges before. Like if you're an immigrant or a family member of an immigrant, you've probably overcome dozens of challenges in your life, from anything from applying to jobs and facing discrimination because of your name or the color of your skin, or because you have an accent, or because you don't have a degree from the US, right? To not knowing how to navigate applying to college, whatever it is, you've most likely overcome a lot in your life already and are very strong. And from that experience, have a lot of strength that will make you uniquely qualified to start a business. And you have, right? And you can do this. You can start a business and put yourself on a pathway to building wealth. And a great example I want to share is of Diego Corzo. And he is someone who was formerly undocumented. Then he was able to get DACA program. And he is now a successful real estate agent. He's a successful online business owner. If you listen to his TED Talk, he talks about how early in his career, when he just finished school and he wasn't able to get a driver's license because of his immigration status, he used to have to bike to work, and he would have to show up sweaty and change his clothes and on all of that. And so it's just an example of all the barriers that he has to go through, the many other ones as well, and that many of you have gone through. But he was still, able, despite that, to, be successful in his career and advance. And he talks about how his immigration experience is actually his secret advantage, because it's giving him all of this strength and experience that a lot of other people haven't had to deal with. So when he gets a difficult task or a challenge in his career, in his business, it's, I'm guessing, nothing compared to having to ride his bike to his 9-to-5 job, and show up and all that. So just think about what have you been through that is probably a lot harder than starting a business, and that maybe starting a business actually isn't that bad compared to what you've already been able to survive, whether it's you or people in your family. And this is something that you deserve to do. And if you're interested and want to do it, you can, and we're here to support you. We'd love to give any support we can. So please feel free to reach out. You can email us at hello@immigrantfinance.com. Send us a message on Instagram or Facebook at Immigrant Finance. And just remember, you are here on this earth for a reason. I really believe that every person has the potential to make an impact and help others, and has a unique purpose that no one else in this world can provide, based on your experiences, based on your own story, based on your unique perspective. And there's people who need to hear that, and there's people who need your help, right? And will only be able to get it if you have the courage to start your business and create something. And so think about that too. If you don't have the confidence for yourself, do it for those potential clients who in the future, need you and are really waiting for what you're about to create. So, and don't let the fact that you're an immigrant or family member of an immigrant be the reason that you don't. So thank you all so much. If you're ready to jump in and get started with developing a business idea, we offer complimentary 30-minute consults on starting an online business. Would love to provide support to you and help you brainstorm that more as well. You can just go to immigrantfinance.com/consult. And we also, of course, cover online business development in our signature program, Immigrant Finance School. You can apply at immigrantfinanceschool.com. This is our 6-week personal finance group coaching program on strategies to build wealth for immigrant families through managing money, investing, and starting online businesses through our Thrive method, where we really empower folks to be moving from surviving to thriving with community support so that they can reach their fullest potential. Thank you all, and have a great rest of the day. Thanks for listening. Bye.